Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about living in a van while injured, and cut to the chase here. I'm not living in the van right now. There is no way. I've got a broken collarbone, which is on its way to being healed, hopefully in the next few weeks, and 7 broken ribs and a punctured lung. So pretty rough shape there. It happened a couple weeks ago, and as you can see, I'm in a hotel. And so that's the long and the short of it. I found it impossible to stay in my Toyota Sienna hybrid in this condition. There's just no way. Because of the basic build of my Sienna, just a platform, I typically, I'm crawling in and out on my hands and knees, um, getting ready for bed. I'm, laying out the Thermarest mattress and pillow and moving stuff around. And of course, that's pretty impossible with only one arm that's really working. Um, Also, I'm going to leave a link to my PayPal. If you can contribute $1 or something, I would appreciate it. I'll put it up on the screen now. Thank you in advance. I'll leave it at the end of the video too. So I'll go through some of the details of the crash. I actually do have video of it. If you go back to the previous video on my channel, that's not a short. It is the crash video, which doesn't look all that spectacular, but I'll get into that in a minute. I want to give a big thanks to friends and strangers that really helped me out here when I crashed, and I'll detail that in a sec too, as far as how I got the help. But basically, without an emergency fund and a way to just stay at a hotel for several weeks probably, and without getting help from other people, this would have been extremely difficult. Traveling alone, riding a mountain bike alone, which I'm doing, does carry some risk, especially when you crash and get injured. So if you're living in a vehicle and doing anything somewhat risky, you really need to plan ahead and have some kind of backup plan. And I got a little bit lucky too, I must say. So let's get into it. I'll start with the crash and talk about that, and then talk about how I got help here in Bishop, California, and hopefully my prognosis for healing from there. All right, so here's the crash video. And this trail, this is in Alabama Hills, which is in Lone Pine, California. That's Mount Whitney in the background. Sierra Nevada range, just beautiful location. This trail is actually a green trail on Trail Forks, meaning it's classified as beginner. So it was fine. I did park a ways away from the trailhead, and then you see me riding the dirt road here, and that'll come into play after I crashed. So here I am coming in. There's some hills and some sand, and really, I was having a good time here and no issues at all. Very beautiful spot. It was a nice day, as you can see, sunny. Just, typical single track, a little on the sandy side. And, a few ups and downs. And let's get to the crash here. So right at this point, and believe it or not, I was debating, should I go down this or not, or should I turn around and explore some other areas? Well, I decided to bomb down this hill, and I got some good speed going. And at the bottom were a couple of little whoop-de-doos, but pretty sandy. So in my hubris, I'm thinking, yeah, I'll just zip down this hill and, pop over these little hills, no worries. And as you can see here, I went over the first one and got popped up. Probably should have leaned back more. I don't know. It's hard to tell. And then the tire just kind of planted in the second little whoop-de-doo there, and it was pretty sandy, and just over I went. So it really wasn't over the bar so much as sideways. And then you see the impact there. Bammo. And that's where I got the wind knocked out of me like crazy. And if you watch the video, you'll see I'm struggling to breathe for, I don't know, a good 20 seconds. and I'm groaning and trying to gasp for air here. And then the reality started sinking in that, man, that was a pretty hard hit. Now, it was sandy area, but I think I did hit on this more solid patch of ground. Luckily, it wasn't gravelly or real rocky. I did not end up with any cuts or bleeding anywhere, which was fortunate. And then here I am with my head down, just struggling to breathe and realizing that I really screwed up big time. Then you're going to see me reach to turn off the GoPro. So the extent of the injuries: broken collarbone right in the middle, and 7 broken ribs, and a punctured lung. So after catching my breath, and I was kind of in shock, obviously, and I had to get out of there because I was alone. Now, I was only a couple miles away from the van. It wasn't terrible. And so I'm just backing up here through it because all this way I pushed the bike, steering with my broken side, left side, and pushing the bike from the seat with my right arm, the good arm. And I had to go, up that very hill that I went down and up several hills and through a bunch of sand. And I'm going to guess right about let's see. I remember going through this rocky section, pushing the bike. And how did I even do that? It's crazy. Adrenaline, basically. I pushed the bike for over a mile in my condition. And, I could tell my collarbone was broken because it was moving. So, a bit of shock and panic mode there. But I'm like, I got to get back to the van. So I pushed the bike all this way. And luckily, I ran into some hikers and mountain bikers on the trail where I proceeded to say, hey, I'm pretty messed up here. Can you help me out? And I got some help, which is great. So I'm going to give a shout out to those hikers and bikers that helped me. They helped me steady myself. At that point, the adrenaline was wearing off and I just couldn't even stand up. It was really rough shape. So they helped me walk that last, a quarter mile maybe, to where they had a car parked. And one of the bikers' girlfriends is a paramedic, so she drove out and wrapped up my arm like in a sling. And they really helped me out, these people. Now, they did write their name and phone number on a Post-it note, which unfortunately I just lost in all the confusion of the next day or so. So I feel bad I can't call and thank them. But if they're watching this video, thank you so much. So they helped me get in their car. And one of the riders took my bike, threw it on my bike rack, took my keys, and took the van to Lone Pine Hospital, where I got dropped off at the ER. So obviously I was in a lot of pain then, and I did get some meds at the hospital and some x-rays and a CAT scan. They wanted to make sure my head or spine or anything more major didn't get hurt, which luckily it didn't. So really, these injuries, as bad as they are, could have been a lot worse. So I ended up actually leaving that hospital that evening and driving back to my motel in Ridgecrest, which was a pretty insane thing to do. So that's where I stayed for the next day or so, and man, it was rough. I didn't get good meds. There was a mix-up with the prescription. The doctor's signature was on there, but his name was not on the masthead. And anything with painkillers, of course, pharmacies, they're really strict about that. So I was not able to get the good meds right away. I just had Tylenol with codeine, which, did something, but really not enough. So that was pretty rough. Now, I have friends in Bishop, and I'm so thankful to them because they did so much to help me. They came and picked me up from Ridgecrest, drove my van, and I came and made an appointment with an orthopedic here in Bishop. So I started getting a little more info on what was wrong and what the next steps would be. I went to the ER here as well, got more x-rays, mainly of the lung because there was a punctured lung, and that was the first thing that needed to be dealt with. And then over the course of the next week, I visited the orthopedic surgeon again and learned about, the option of surgery and all that. Bottom line is I'm not going to get surgery, and hopefully it can heal, the best way possible without surgery. The broken ribs, they can do nothing about, you just have to rest and heal. And the lung hopefully will heal itself too. And I feel this is over a couple weeks after the accident, so I do feel much better. I got some stronger meds, so that's great. And I'm resting comfortably in this hotel room. I did stay at my friend's place for about 5 or 6 days, so that was very helpful. And it was rough going. This is a painful injury, and I had other issues like muscle spasms in the back, and that was crazy. So anyway, I'm super thankful to my friends here in Bishop. It would have been so rough without their help. So that was just lucky, that they were within an hour of where I crashed, north of where I crashed. So that is great. And then the strangers, unfortunately, they're strangers because I lost the info about them, that helped me get out of there into the hospital. So thank you so much to all of those people. Point being, when you're by yourself, there's a risk, and other people helping can make a huge difference in getting the help you need medically and otherwise. There's a lot of other help you need when you're down for the count like this. So I'm in a sling, obviously, and can't really use my left arm, etc. And then everything you think of that you normally do in life is harder. If you've ever been injured like this, you know what I'm talking about. So to wrap it up here, being injured like this and living in a van is, I don't know, I found it completely impossible. And at some point I'll get back in the van here. I'll probably stay another week, maybe 2 in this hotel, because I'm going to need to move around in the van. And of course, driving is an issue too. So we'll see. I'm not going to rush it here. So that's the story. Could have been way worse, and I'm lucky that I will heal. And it's just going to be probably another 10 or 12 weeks. Who knows? So here's that link again. If you can spare a buck or two, I'd appreciate it. It's a cautionary tale, getting injured while on the road. And I found it, again, impossible to stay in the van in my condition. So hopefully I'll get back into it in another few weeks, and I can be back on the road as I heal. We'll see how that goes. I'm not going to push it. I'll just take it one day at a time here. All right, so the bottom line is it could have been way worse, and I'm really thankful that I'm going to heal, and again, thankful for all the help I've received from friends and strangers and family and everybody texting and talking to me on the phone and FaceTiming and everything, because it does, you can get down and depressed about things, angry about the crash, I can't believe I did that, etc. So the mental support, the psychological support is important too. All right, so thanks. That's my story here of this crash. Something that happened, and I'm glad it's done and I'm on the healing path. So, all right, take care. Bye.